Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hello, everyone. Good morning, Facebook. Good morning, Twitter. Good morning, Instagram. Good morning, folks across all platforms. I am here with a legitimate superstar, Mr. Debo Vibes. How you
How
doing
goes it,
this
sir?
morning, Debo?
Doing excellent yourself, T. Will. How you doing, man?
I am doing well, man. I don't have any issues this morning. I woke up and I thank the good Lord for it. Ladies and
Amen.
gentlemen, I am pleased to announce to you that myself and this gentleman will be doing shows on Tuesday mornings and Friday mornings. And it's essentially a quick recap on the Falcons, the Braves, and the Hawks. That's right. The Falcons, the Braves, and the Hawks.
Yes,
Did a
sir.
show with this guy a couple of days ago. It went great. I knew he was into the Falcons. I didn't know he knew baseball and basketball like this. So this is gonna be fun, man.
Yes,
So
sir.
Depot, let me ask you a question, man. Let's get right into it. I'm sorry, these Falcons, man. These Falcons got me so bad I can't sleep, man.
I
The-
totally get it. Totally
Bro,
get it.
these Falcons, man. These Falcons. Let me tell you something. Whoo, 6-3,
Correct.
6-3, and we go from that to. Are we watching the playoffs from Applebee's? Is
That
that where
part.
we are?
Exactly. Exactly. Will we have a bye week?
Oh my goodness, we got a long bye week. our, our bye week is about 5-6 months. God,
Ooh,
man.
man.
Woo, no, 7-8 months. We started September, so golly, bro. Let me ask you this, man. Was our season a failure? I mean, the expectations were that we would at least make the playoffs. We
Absolutely. Yeah.
clearly did not.
Mm-hmm.
Was this season a failure?
Well, in marketing, there's such a thing, T. Will, as what's it called? Under promising and over delivering.
Mm,
Well, in this particular situation, what the Atlanta Falcons did, they overpromised and underdelivered.
mm,
So, and then that's on them. You can't go out there talking about, oh, we're going to outrun the South. Everywhere we go, this is our trap, and this is and going around swag serving this, that, and a third. Once again, T. Will, they were 6-3, okay,
mm,
and then for you to only win two of your last 8 games,
mm.
and with the personnel that they brought in, you brought in the Judons, you brought in the Simmons, you brought in the Kirk Cousins, which was a total disaster. But you did everything that you could to the fan base perspective to make it where you go not only go to the playoffs but go deep into the playoffs. So with that being said, yeah, this is an absolute failure, and I put that 100% on Raheem Morris because he. It all started, well, not just him, Raheem Morris as well as Terry Fontenot, because you
Mm.
sit here and like I said, 6-3, and you're overpromising that we're going to do this, we're going to outrun the South, this, that, and third, and the product that you put on the field is
Mm.
anything but. I don't care what no one says. They knew that something was going on with Kirk Cousins.
Yeah,
So
I think they did.
so they should nip that in the bud real quick by putting in the rookie Michael Penix. I'm talking about they should have did that right after the Broncos game. So with
Yeah.
that, there's a small part of me who wants to say it was his first year. First year things happen. However, we both know T. Will. This man's not a first year head coach. He's done it before. He's done his rodeo before. So yeah, with that being said, yeah, it's absolute failure. You start 6-3 and you lose the 6 of your last 8 games,
I'm
and
laughing. I'm laughing to keep from crying, man. And
man,
see,
that's all you
okay,
can.
look, yeah,
That's that's that's
I can't do nothing, man.
that's all you can do. And I'm telling you something. Somebody has to fall on the sword. You can't just sit here and go lose 6 of your last 8 games and then bring back the entire staff the way the product was to end the season, particularly giving up 44 points to the Carolina Panthers. Ridiculous,
to the Panthers.
ridiculous. And
Made
I know one game is not making a season, but you Bryce Young legit looked like he was Patrick Mahomes out there on Sunday.
we made
Five
him look
touchdowns.
like Cam. We
Yeah, he
made
looked
him
at
look
Cam.
like Cam. I
Exactly.
mean, bro, come
Inexcusable.
on,
So yeah,
come
with that
on.
being said, yeah, but to answer your question, T real, absolutely, yeah, that's in my opinion, yeah. Season absolute failure. Season absolute failure.
I mean, it's just disappointing, man. And I'm joking about it, but I legitimately was looking forward to it, man. Let me tell you something. When that
Mm,
and to be fair, I knew it was a long shot that we make the playoffs after what happened in Washington. Which, I mean, again, it
Right.
wasn't. Let me put this way. That was totally not Michael Penix's fault. I mean, look, it nothing we could do about it now. But I'm thinking, okay, we at least go out with a win, right? We at
Right.
least go out with a win. I don't know why you would pivot to that bend but don't break defense that never worked in the first
In the
place.
first place,
I
absolutely not.
I, I legitimately do not understand that, right? And I
Right.
honestly, like, I'm cool, right? I've been an Atlanta Falcons fan for many years. I'm used to disappointments, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like,
Correct.
I'm used to it. I'm used to taking L's when it comes to my Falcons. I love my Falcons, but I've developed tough skin when it comes to them. So,
Right. Right.
the fact that we missed the playoffs, while I didn't love it, and I didn't love it, I I get it. But the more I think about it, I just hate that we wasted the opportunity and the time.
It's
You know what I
and
mean?
perfectly said, T. Will. Wasted opportunity. Wasted opportunity. And the thing, and again, one game is not make a season. However, you gotta look at what happened, and you have no choice but to look at what happened up in Washington with timeout gate and the way what happened. Because had we won that,
I
had we
love the
won,
way you put
had this is what it is. That's what exactly what exactly what it was. We
that.
had it. We had everything right there for us to get not only make the playoffs but clinch the division, and
Mm,
then what happens. So, like you said, we had slim chance to
yeah,
make it in. But
yeah,
even with that, even go out fighting, go out swinging.
yeah,
44 points once again to the Carolina Panthers. That's the most points they scored in 3 years.
yeah. That's crazy, man. Now, look
From
on
my
the
from my
positive.
research, it's probably been longer than that.
It probably has, but look, it on the positive side, Penix and the offense look great, man. You know
Absolutely.
what's unfortunate is if we get both of those coin tosses,
Hmm.
we're probably in the playoffs.
More than likely. Oh yeah. Oh
They're
yeah.
not stopping us. They are
No.
not stopping us.
No, not with that product. Not with the product that we put on field. The product
Yeah,
we put on field on Sunday was elite as
yeah,
far offensively,
yeah. It was. It
offensively,
really
and
was.
and T will if I may, I want these plays just don't happen out of nowhere. I mean, Michael Penix Jr. just doesn't pull these plays out of his butt, right? They had to be told
Right.
to him. So kudos to Zach Robinson.
Oh
This
yeah,
man's actually
definitely kudos.
and Zach Robinson has dialed up some gems
Yeah,
over this past year,
yeah.
and so it's a total opposite of I don't like to say his name, JL. So but yeah, but the plays he was dialing up. See, man, that's where the frustration really mounts up and builds up. You see everything that happened on Sunday. It could have been that way half the season had we installed Michael Penix a little more sooner.
It really could have. I'm gonna be honest, man. Watching Michael Penix,
Mm.
I was spellbound, man. That throw that he makes to Drake for that touchdown,
Hmm.
nobody saw that because it got there that fast.
And
Like
what's
it
so
was like zip.
absolutely, and what's so impressive if we're talking about the same touchdown, the prior play, he threw the same ball, but he was out of bounds. I mean, he was like, let's try it again. Let's
Yeah,
try it again. It's a
yeah,
touchdown.
yeah.
So yeah,
I
that
mean,
that impressed me, and seeing his touchdown run, oh, visions of Mike Vick dancing in my head, man.
you know what? I did not want to say that. I did
You
not
how can
want to
you
say
not? You remember those
that. I
runs Mike
do.
Vick did
I
towards the
do.
pylon? Yes,
I
absolutely, man.
I tell you what reminds of Mike Vick with Penix though, his arm.
Oh yeah,
Although
lefty.
he's way more excuse me, way more accurate
Hmm.
than Mike Vick. Well, now Mike Vick had velocity. Mike Vick at times was not the most accurate. Penix is accurate,
Yes,
but it's like watching this. I'm not gonna lie. I felt like we're seeing something special. You know what
absolutely.
I mean?
We
I,
got
I
we
felt
did we did get sample size, absolutely.
yeah. But I felt like we're watching something that we may not see in a while. Like just with his poise, that cannon he has, that throw that he makes where he scrambles to the left side and chunks that thing like 28 yards, and it's there and it's on a line, and that just doesn't happen. You know what I mean? Not with
Absolutely, yes, sir.
most folks, if they're running, like if it's a right-handed quarterback and he's running to his right side, he's gonna throw it, but it's gonna have some air under it, and he's just getting it to the guy. Penix flung that thing, and it got there like bam. It's like
Right.
whoa, and I'm like, bro, we got a quarterback.
We got a quarterback, and
We
yeah,
we got a quarterback, right?
right.
It's like, so I'm really encouraged by that. I really am encouraged, and we're gonna have the same cast of offensive teammates coming back. So you got Drake back, you got Mooney back, you got Bijan, obviously, who is a stud. You got Algier, you got Kyle Pitts, you got Ray Ray. You got the I know it, but this is the way I look at Pitts, right?
Okay.
Maybe. And if you trade them, I understand. I get it. Good morning, A1. How you doing, man?
Chris, what's
Chris
happening, man?
A1 from day one. What's going on, man? How you doing? We got Jay Black in here this morning. Good morning, Jay Black. How you doing,
Jay
man? How you
Black.
doing? Yeah, exactly. Chris says, guys, to throw forward to the sideline to Hodge. Yeah, that was freaking beautiful.
Crazy.
But we got the same cast of characters coming back, right? Jay Black says, how does the panel think Rondale Moore will fit in the scheme? I think he was only here for on a 1-year deal, Jay Black. I'm not sure. I could be wrong.
Let
But
me ask you. I'm
what you
sorry,
got? Go
Terry.
ahead. No, you
I just
good.
thought about something. Who would
What you
you
got?
rather? Who would you rather bring back? Want to bring back? Ray McLeod or Rondale Moore? If you could pick one.
Well, definitely Ray Ray. I've seen what he can do. He's definitely, look at even though he might have missed a few, he still stepped up when Mooney went down. So,
Okay.
Rondell's a speed guy, but he's coming off an ACL. I don't know how that's going to impact him. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Fair. That's fair.
Because
Okay.
he's a dominant speed guy. If he wasn't such a speedster, it'd be different. But we don't know how that's going to impact him. But
Yeah.
either
Okay.
way, man, I'm excited about this Falcons team next year. Give me your thoughts on some offseason moves you would make. And understand, I think we're gonna be a little cash poor. So
Right.
give me I don't know. Give me two moves you make. You're Terry Fontenot. It's the offseason. Give me two moves you make in the offseason for this Falcons team.
Assuming Terry Fondo's still here, so he's still here, right?
Well, he's doing a press conference on Thursday. I'm assuming he is. I could be wrong. I could
Right.
definitely be wrong, but I'm
Which,
assuming he is.
which in and of itself, I'm gonna answer your question right now. But in and of itself, why are you doing a press conference on Thursday?
That I don't know. Maybe just to say, look, he's still here. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, because
Right.
typically they do them one day after each other.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
if Raheem did it yesterday, he would have done it today. But again, man, I don't know. I don't know what the Falcon brass thinks sometimes. I don't know. I just know he's doing it on Thursday, which means he will at least be employed until Thursday, and we'll go from there. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I don't
Right.
know, man. But
What
I
I
mean,
would what we'll see. Yeah. One of the main things I would do is, to be quite honest with you, man, I would try, if I was Terry Fontenot, you had to do some of this defense. Period. You had to do some of this defense in my opinion. And one move I would make is, I think we're picking number 15. We're 15 in the draft, I believe. I would try to move up to get the Georgia kid, linebacker Mikael Williams. That's what
linebacker,
I would
yeah,
do.
yeah.
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
That would be my first thing. I would do anything I can to move up, because we need something to galvanize this particular offense. I mean, this particular defense.
Yeah.
That's the main thing I would do. The offense is good. I would consider getting a right to. What's your opinion on McGarity, man?
If you'd asked me that before this season,
Mm-hmm.
I would have been like, man, hell yeah, draft the right tackle.
Right.
Do it, sir. Now, do it
Right.
right now.
Right.
But McGarry from the run side is a mauler.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just a mauler, and he's adequate. I'm not gonna say he's great. I'm not gonna say he's great, and you're probably gonna have to get him help. But when you needed it every time Sunday, and you had to have it for a
Mm-hmm.
run, you ran it
Mm-hmm.
to this. You ran it to the right side,
Right.
right?
Correct.
You ran it to the right side. So and again, the thing about McGarry is McGarry has slow feet, but he was adequate this year. I'm not gonna say he was at pass blocking. He was adequate. Now, from a run blocking perspective, you do not want to see that dude coming your way. That dude
Right.
is a mauler. I mean, you probably not gonna win that fight. I'm gonna be
Yeah,
honest with
you're
you.
not. No, absolutely not. Yeah.
That's a big dude, man. That's a
Right.
big old
He's
strong
huge. Yeah,
country
yeah.
boy.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That dude is huge, right? So look,
Right.
I'm gonna give him his respect. I might ride it out to 2026. I might, and it's funny. Timing is everything, Debo. Because if you'd have asked me that at the beginning of the season, I'd have been like, "Yeah, we got to." But he played well this year, and in these past 3 games, I don't know that he's given up that maybe one if that.
Mm-hmm.
I might have to keep him. I mean, I don't know. Let's see how next year goes. I
Right.
definitely wouldn't draft his replacement next year.
That's what I was getting. I would draft his
Yeah,
replacement, and the reason the main reason I brought up Caleb McGarry is because we both know now with Michael Penix being a left-handed quarterback, McGarry is going to be the one protecting his blind side.
right.
So how good will he be with that? And from what I saw, he did a great job. But again, he's getting up there, so we definitely need to at least consider
I'll definitely
drafting
consider it.
drafting his replacement. And J Black 142 says, how aggressive will we pursue 3-4 linebackers and defensive tackles in the draft and free agency? Uh,
Good
D
question. We
tackles,
only have
yeah,
4 picks.
yeah. So I think, me personally, Jay Black, I think that we did everything we could as far as defensive tackles being drafted this past draft that we did by drafting Rook as well as drafting on Dorless. So they're still having Zach Harrison in there as well. I believe he's actually in there as well. At D tackle. So but who knows though? But Jay Black definitely a linebacker. Definitely a linebacker. That's yeah, and yeah, and from my synopsis and from what I saw, a linebacker is a speedy a linebacker who can also cover. We don't need no Judon back there
Yeah,
covering. We you want to talk about something that will make your eyes hurt.
oh my
My eyes were
god.
hurting.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Man,
my eyes were hurting seeing
why,
Judon
Debo?
back there covering a running back on a wheel route. No,
Why, Debo?
sir.
Why?
No,
Why?
sir.
I
No,
just
why
want to
do
know.
that?
I want
Yeah,
to know what. Look, I ain't gonna be. Look, I'm not. As the young folks say, I'm not gonna hold you, man. Somebody was high.
man.
Somebody was high. That is the only. Why would you ever? Why? Why would
Yeah.
you ever?
I
Why
guess
would you
I
do
don't
that?
know. I don't know. Jimmy Lake lost a bet. He had to do that, man. Oh
Somebody was.
man, it was seeing those red sleeves, try and cover someone out of backfield. That was not anything nice to see,
Bro, bro, that was a
But
nightmare. I'm up here watching it, and the funny thing is, I see the play develop, I'm
mhm.
like, they got Judon.
Yep, the
Wait,
red
is he in
sleeves.
man?
That's all
Is
you
he
see. The
in
red
man?
sleeves. Yep.
And I'm like, oh God, this is not going to end well, and it did not. And I'm like, what are we doing right now?
Yeah.
What are we
So
doing right now, bro? Jimmy Lake, if you're still here, don't ever do that again, Jimmy. All right, don't. Raheem, don't allow Jimmy to do that.
don't
If
allow
Jimmy,
your boy to. Yeah, yeah.
don't
Don't allow
allow
that.
Jimmy to do that.
Yeah.
Don't, bro. I'm still, bro. That was,
That'll hurt. That'll literally hurt your eyes. That'll hurt your eyes watching that, man.
bro.
I know it hurt mine.
Bro, as I see it happening, I'm like, you know how you see some, but I'm like, I
I
know,
know. Yeah, I know this ain't happening. I
I
know.
know you're not
I know.
about. I know,
I
and
know
it's
it.
like when it happens, you can't look away. So I'm like, I know you.
Yeah.
I know you didn't.
Yep.
Oh my God.
There he is.
And then
Yep.
bro.
Yep. There he is.
Oh my
Cover.
goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cover and run back out the backfield on wheel route.
Yeah, man. So we need a couple line. Look, Caden Ellis is a keeper,
Yeah,
100%. But
total, absolutely.
we need a couple of linebackers that can run. Let me ask you this:
Uh-huh.
Is it time? Is it time to consider moving on from Grady and or Anyamata?
Onyemata, yes. Definitely Onyemata because he didn't he produced and gave us a good season last season. Not but this season he was, in my opinion, and this is in my opinion, he was a shell of himself, and he offered very minimum, when time was needed to. Grady, I don't think it's time for us to move on from him, but with something can be restructured as far as his I don't know the specifics of his contract. I'll be totally honest with you, T. Will, but um, hey, Father Time is undefeated. Always has been, always will be.
That's
And,
true.
yeah,
Just ask my niece.
right,
Just ask my niece.
right.
Matter of
I,
fact, hey, look it. The gentleman that I have highlighted is my brother.
mm,
Man, look it. We were talking. It might have been a couple of months ago about getting together in the backyard, and I was like, Eric, come on, man. You already
right.
know. And he couldn't do nothing but laugh. But you're absolutely right, man. You can't
Mm,
stop all the time. And when it
right.
goes, bro, it goes.
It goes.
It
And
goes.
so, but yeah, definitely Onyemata. But man, Grady, man, Grady showed that he was that dude, man, during that Broncos game when he was the only one who gave effort on those 2 touchdowns that Broncos did during the screen plays. And he was the only one running downfield to try to get. This man is a defensive tackle, turn around, run downfield, trying to chase down a wide receiver at the goal line. That showed me right there. So that's leadership right there. So yeah, I'm not. I'm me and plus a sentimental value, man. Gray's a good guy. You know what I mean? So I met a couple of times. Cool dude, man. So,
I've heard
but
that. I've heard.
right, and so yeah. Is it too fast for us to move on from Gray Jerry? I believe so. I would love for him to be a Falcon for life, but who is really here for life moving forward in the NFL? I
That's
can't
true.
see, but I
That's
think those days are over, unfortunately. So.
you think so? Yeah, yeah.
I believe so, man. I
No,
think
I
so.
think you're right. I think look at you go to Grady and to your point, because we don't have a lot of money. So maybe the
Mhm.
conversation is, hey Grady, can you take this amount? And it's probably time to reduce his role a little bit, right? Just maybe not that much,
Right,
but
right.
maybe, instead of all three down, maybe every two, I don't know. But I think you draft a D tackle or two.
Really?
I'm thinking maybe, and I'm just throwing this out there.
Hmm.
Maybe you trade Pitts for two more picks.
I want
And,
now.
and
I would not be. I would not. I wouldn't be against it. I would not
yeah,
be against that. To be honest with you, I mean because the whole thing with Pitts, there's and everybody keeps talking about, oh, he's the unicorn, he's that, he's this, he's that. This
yeah.
man, you can't teach effort.
No, you can't give somebody the want to. You
So
can't.
that's
Yeah,
that's where I stand on Kyle Pitts.
yeah, yeah.
That's where I stand on Kyle
Can't.
Pitts.
You cannot give somebody. You can't give them the want to.
Hmm.
You just can't. You cannot, and it is what it is, man.
And I agree with A2 Monte Carlo, man. We get that defense, bro. Can you see? Here we go to frustration again. T. Will. Can you imagine? Just picture just picture this. Dig if you will, like Prince said. Can you imagine a defense, smothering defense, 3, 4, 5 sacks on top of what that offense did on Sunday?
It's over.
It's over. It's
It's
a
over.
wrap.
It's
It's a
over.
wrap, my dude.
I gotta show this from Eric. Eric says I'm surprised that I'm trading coverage.
That was next. Hey, real talk. That was next. Trust me. The way Jimmy Lake defense was, that was next.
Somebody was drinking
Drop him
late
back.
that night. Somebody was
Yeah.
like, you know what? You know what? I'm gonna put Judon in coverage.
I'm gonna make Judon cover some on the wheel route. It's going to work. Yeah.
That's
Whoever.
great. That's a great call. That's it. You know what? You know what else? I'm going to play everybody 15 yards back.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know it wasn't successful the first time, but
Yeah.
we're on the revenge tour, damn it.
Yeah.
YOLO.
YOLO. There it is. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. I'm gonna play everybody soft shell, even if we're even in the red zone. Soft shell. Dude. Yeah.
No, you know what?
Let me say this right now, man.
I'm gonna put you
Look,
in man.
I never want anybody to get fired,
No, me
especially a
neither.
professional.
Me neither.
But somebody has to fall on the sword. I think that somebody has to be Jimmy Lake.
It's got to be Jimmy. And if for nothing else, like, bro, you're talking about doing this for weeks, right? It's different if, let's say, you'd have done this. Let's say at 6-3, you're like, you know what? All right, I gotta do something different here, and you make that change, right? Okay, you learn your lesson. But dude, you didn't change until week 11.
And
You
to
did
be
not
honest with
change
you,
until week 11, and then you doubled down on it. And I don't even know what the purpose of that was. That's like, hey man, double fingers to you Falcon fans. I know the defense was working, but guess what we're gonna do?
we're gonna go back.
Guess who's back?
Yeah.
Guess who's back? Guess
What
who's back? Like, bruh.
dude, yeah, the defense was lights out, leading the league in sacks over the past 4 or 5 weeks or whatever.
I don't understand why you.
And then just like that, he's like, you know what? Yeah, no, whoa. We're doing too much. Let's go back. Let's go back to what we were doing. I don't
honestly,
get it.
I don't understand why you that, bro. That's like and look at Debo. You've been podcasting for a minute. You've built up your audience, so I know you're gonna understand. That's like doing a show with somebody, and they throw you an agenda, and you're like, "What the hell is this?
Yeah, what the hell is it? What?
What is this?" Like,
we're going with this.
I got an audience that expect, like, I'm what?
Right. We're going with this.
What?
Yeah. So
on the agenda, we're gonna have Debo juggle while singing the national anthem.
No, we're not.
No, we're not.
I mean? And I wonder, and I bring that up because I wonder if that's why the defense played so, I don't want to call it lethargic, but devoid of passion. Right? Like, okay, here we go with this bullshit again. All right. Because you could feel it. Or at least I could.
No, I mean, you can see it on a TV screen. I know, I felt it. I was like, what the hell these dudes do? And again, I know the NFL 1.11% or 0.1%, whoever stats is talented enough to make it to the National Football League of human beings. 1.1, 0. Yeah.
Right.
So talent is everywhere. I get that. However, the narrative is this. You gave up 44 points to the Panthers. One of the most inept teams in the league. Now, Bryce Young, he's been doing his thing. Matter of fact, Bryce Young, he's been doing exceptional. But 44 points exceptional and 5 touchdowns, that defense checked out, dude. Something made that defense check out.
There's one touchdown where on the slant he just walked there because they're 7 yards off of him and they're on the 5.
Right.
And you're 7 yards off of them. I'm gonna say that again. They're on the 5, right? Because I know I have a Georgia high school public education. Okay,
good for you.
But 5 and 5 is 5, but 7, like, you have no chance.
No, it's a wrap, dude.
Runs a slant. There's nothing you can do unless you can teleport. There's nothing you can do. That you may as well have said, "Hey man, just right there, right there, bro."
And one of the main people, right? And one of the main ones who exposed that and clowned the hell out of them was damn Sean Payton. Like I said, when they played the Broncos and when they was in the red zone, okay, they're on a damn 15-yard line, 10-yard line, and the corners are playing off. Okay, screen pass, touchdown. Let's do it. Oh, they're doing it again. Okay, screen pass, touchdown.
Let's go again.
No, exactly. I mean, but like going back to what you said, man, it has to be. I cannot foresee Jimmy Lake coming back because if Jimmy Lake comes back, I will have to. The question has to be asked, like, what if you want to come back? What do you have to offer? If you can't answer that, yeah. If Art Blank or or Terry Fontenot sits down, it's like, Jimmy, you tell us. You know what I'm saying? Give us your argument. What do you have to offer this defense next year? If you can't answer a good question, he's out.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what he could say other than, guys, I can bring donuts. Like, I honestly, I legitimately do not know if you're Jimmy. Like, if you're Jimmy Lake and
Right.
you convince them to bring you back, you should be an attorney.
You should be he should be an agent.
Yeah, you know
Yeah, he
what?
should be an agent
You're
or a
right.
defensive. He's
You're
a
right.
defense attorney or something. Now, one thing I will say about Jimmy Lake, hey, one thing I will say to bring him back, the man has a hell of a voice. The man has a hell of a voice. Just saying.
Now, this is coming from the great Debo Vibes, who, if you guys have not noticed, has a great voice himself. So
Oh, I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
I'm gonna ask you this: is it better than the Debo Vibes voice? I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
I'm a firm believer in my voice, but that paycheck Jimmy Lake getting these days, man. I would. He ain't got. He ain't got clocking to work like I do. So so it is what it is. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I think he's getting paid to call defenses. You know what? Maybe Jimmy should become a podcaster. I don't know. Maybe he should get in the radio business. I don't know.
He has future but as far as like scheming up a good defense for a Sunday football game, I think the guy was just over his head.
I don't
know what he did with the Rams to make Raheem say, okay, yeah, this guy needs to be a defensive coordinator. So,
oh wow,
so Kerry, appreciate you.
Good morning,
Good morning,
Kerry.
Falcons. Man, hit the like button. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Appreciate that.
That is our producer from One Time from the Fan. She's the greatest producer on earth ever in the history of ever. And she's just outstanding. Good morning. I mean, I there's nothing bad I can say about her. First off, she's going to send us 30 articles a day. So for the next day, and for those of you who are not content creators, you need that so that you could get the material ready for your show, right? But she doesn't just post one article. Seriously, it's literally 30. So Carrie, we could not do One Time for the Fan without her. She's invaluable. Jay Blacks, and you know what? Let me not be selfish. It's about that time for you. I understand you got to go. Debo, thank you for joining me this morning. I really appreciate you. Tell these fans where they can find you. And bro, I'm so glad that we are starting this show. And it's going to be a lot of fun doing it with you, man. So tell these folks where they can find you.
Absolutely, man. Y'all can please go to Debo Vibes on YouTube. A lot of good content there. Mainly the main thing I was doing was covering my Falcons, but the Falcon season is in the past now. So look for content for the Atlanta Hawks and definitely for my Atlanta Braves, man. Love my Braves. So look for content with that. And I'm a foodie, by the way. So I'll be going to some restaurants, particularly down here on the south side in Clayton County, Henry County, Fayette County, to sample some cuisine down here. So I do videos like that. So, I would love y'all support. So, like I said, Debo Vibes on YouTube, and we'll chop it up, man. I'll definitely appreciate y'all support, man.
Definitely, man. And I'm a foodie, as you can tell. I don't miss a meal. So we gotta link up where that's concerned, because especially this Falcons game, he will comfort himself with some food. Okay,
hey, you gotta do something when you watch those Falcons, man. Something to ease the misery.
You gotta do it, bro. You gotta do it. But hey, man, thank you for joining me. I appreciate it, Debo.
Absolutely.
I will see you Friday, man. Really appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir.
All right. So Jay Black says, panel, what if Ra allowed the change in the defense in the last game because, our defense was playing well? Was JG's involvement in the defense and he wanted to show the D could work? I have no idea. Jay Black. I have no idea. He says, in the last game, to spite JG and top brass. You know what? If you're trying to come back for that next season, especially after you didn't make the playoffs, I don't know about that one, Jay Black. Interesting theory. I don't know. All right. So J Backlash, good morning, Carrie. My brother being my brother, cracking up. Carrie says, I truly don't understand how you can bring Jimmy Lake back. It will be hard to not question Raw if he brings his buddy after the defense after the way the defense performed. I want a DC with experience. Agreed. Carrie says, good morning, Jay Black. Carlo Wiggins. Jimmy ain't coming back. They have to find the replacement first, or he not going to be grabbing the reins. Eric Parker says, remember when everybody wanted Kyle fired in 2015? Maybe Jimmy comes back on fire. Eric, you're my brother, and I love you. That is truly optimistic. I don't know that I can go with that, bro. Don't know that I can do it. Carrie says, Raheem was very non-committed to Jimmy Lake at the press conference yesterday, just like when he was finally non-committal to Kirk before the QB switch. I see what you did there, Carrie. It's a good point. I think the DC switch is coming. I can't do anything but agree. Carrie, is your channel spelled Debo Vibes? I think it's DEBOE Vibes, Carrie, I think. I would like to subscribe and support your channel. I'm a foodie as well. I'm excited for the Braves going to try to go to spring training since I'm in Florida, and that would be great, Carrie. That would be awesome. And hey, you know what? Maybe we can link up and do some simulcasting. You know, you can do some on-site, you know, programming for the show. I don't know. Let's talk about that, but that is great. Carrie says, T. Will, thank you for your kind words, and I'm happy to help. Hey, Carrie, you are the best. All right, guys, so let's get into it. This Falcons team, we now find ourselves out of the playoffs at Applebee's, watching the playoffs like everybody else. But you know what? At least those accursed Saints are watching the game just like us. So even if we didn't make it, I got to be honest and say I'd take a little bit of solace in the fact that they're going to be watching it with us. That's right. You Saints out there that were cracking jokes and sending memes, not us, Atlanta Falcons. We're not going to help you. Well, you're going to be right next to us. So, you know, right at Applebee's watching the game. You know, what do you want? You want the chili fries? You know, what do you want? You want some sort of dish from New Orleans? You're going to be watching it with us. So how about that? No, in all seriousness, guys, looking forward to next year and what we're doing, right? Because we got to be serious for a moment. Oh, you know what? I got to acknowledge somebody. This is my work mom from back at AT&T a long time ago. Hey, Mama Vaughn, how you doing? Thank you for joining the show. So look it. Falcons have no money, right? So we have no picks and we have no money. We have no picks. We have no money, right? And I'll throw this out in the chat. I'm of the opinion we got to make some cuts and some trades. Cuts, trades. So Grady's going to probably have to take a reduced deal. I got to look at Onyemata to see how he performed, but I'm thinking we might be able to pivot from him. Caden Ellis is a superstar. He's not going anywhere. Obviously, Jesse Bates isn't going anywhere. Are you guys moving on from Justin Simmons? And let's just talk about that for a sec. So if you think we can move on from Justin Simmons and not sign him again, drop a 1 in the chat. If you think we just got to have Justin Simmons, drop a 2. I, for one, think we got to move on. I really do. I don't. Just at this point, Justin really didn't do anything. You know what I mean? I mean, there was the game against the Chiefs, which is what, the second game of the season where he made an interception. But I really feel like you got to move on, right? I don't know who you get to back him up because I don't necessarily know that I want Jimmy Grant, Grant in there. So I don't, I'm kind of, maybe if you can bring Simmons back at a reduced deal, maybe you can do it, but it would have to be a bargain buster, right? It'd have to be like Dollar General, you know, I don't know. Jay Black says 1. Carlos says 1, but I feel like the scheme didn't do him any favors. The defense was constantly out of position. And you know what, Carlo? That's a good point. That is a good point. That is a very good point, because you don't go from being a great safety to not being to playing like that. And I gotta feel like maybe playing out of position or maybe not being used to the scheme had something to do with it. So I gotta agree with you. A1 says 1. 1. I'm disappointed in Justin Simmons. Didn't work, but he not taking a pay cut. Well, then he's probably out of here. A1 says, I think the same, Carlo. Jay Black, Justin seemed to not have a defined role and was lost at times. Helms can take his place and we can play big nickel. Might be the wrong term. I like Helms, but Helms is a thumper. I don't know that Helms is a cover guy. Now, Helms is a thumper, okay? Helms is definitely a thumper. But how does that fit into the scheme that we're going to run going forward? Right. And if you're in a situation where Helms has to cover, I don't know about that. So I think we're in flux at the other safety position. Obviously, Jesse Bates is the greatest, and the fact that he didn't go to Pro Bowl is just criminal. All right, guys. Next, Matthew Judon. How do we feel about him? Like, and I say that from the standpoint of, I understand that prior to the 11, prior to the change, Judon really didn't have a lot of success. But in his defense, once we did pivot to that scheme, Judon had considerably more success. Once we pivoted to the scheme that we ran up until this last game, Judon had a lot more success. And this is the other thing I'll say, Matthew Judon and Grady Jarrett are the most held defensive line in football, period. You could go in any Falcons game this year, and at least 12 plays or 14 of them, Grady and or Judon are both being held. Both being held. All the time. So, with Judon, I'm not opposed to bringing him back. I just don't know that you're going to have the money to do it. I don't mind bringing back Judon because, again, if we're not stupid and don't run that same, we're going to give you 10 yards defense, I don't have an issue bringing back Judon. I really don't. But as a matter of fact, if I had my choice, I'd bring back Judon over Justin Simmons. Okay, that's just me. You've got the progression of Ebiketie. At times Harris looked great. Now again, I don't know why you're dropping Harris in the coverage. I don't. He is a faster defensive lineman. I don't know why you're doing that, but Harris definitely took a step forward when we made that change as far as rushing the passer. Harris definitely took a step forward. Ebiketie was otherworldly. I think Ebiketie might have had 6 sacks, 6 or 7 sacks in that time frame. So, again, just looking at what we got to do, right? You probably want to trade Kurt if you can. You probably want to trade Kyle if you can, and see if you can't recoup 3 or 4 draft picks. Now, they won't be number 1 draft picks. They probably won't even be number 2. They probably won't be second round draft picks, but maybe if you can get some 3rd, 4th, and 5th rounders, maybe you can go from 4 picks this year to 8, and you can replenish what you have. Look, we're losing 23 free agents. You're not going to be able to pay all of those guys. You're not going to be able to replace that. So you're going to have to get some draft picks, and you're probably going to have to sign some bargain basement guys. That's just the bottom line. Maybe you keep 1 or 2. Maybe you keep Judon. I doubt you keep Justin. But on defense, that's where we are. Good news is on offense, you're bringing back everybody. So you guessed it. This is going to be an offensive team next year. Make no mistake about it. You're probably going to have to play really good offense, and you're going to have to take that ball and lead the league in takeaways to really get to where you want to get to next year, which is a deep run in the playoffs. Those are just my thoughts. It's way too far ahead of time to start discussing that, but just my thoughts. Jay Black says, T. Will, you are right. Jay and Grady were being held constantly. Oh, my God, it was ridiculous, man. Carlos says, I think getting a premier edge rusher going to take a lot of that attention and free up the other guys. One stud on the line going to be the difference. Okay, I'm not going to say you're wrong, Carlo. I mean, that's a good point. 15th pick has to be edge. Top 20 isn't so bad. It's got to be a boss hog in the litter. Yeah, well, so guys, I guess it depends on if you want to run a 4-3, if you want to run that same 3-4 BS that we did. Because if you're going to run a 3-4 next year, then you need a hog for real, Carlo. You need a run stuffer. You need somebody you can put up in the middle to clog things. Okay? If you're going to go to the 4-3, then no, you don't. Let's get an edge rusher. Let's get another one to put on the other side of Ebiketie, because Ebiketie got cooking. I don't know what he figured out in that time, but he got cooking. So, maybe you do. I don't know. So that's my thoughts as far as trading in the off seasons. I don't think that Rondale Moore's coming back. I think he was only on a 1-year deal. So, we can run this thing back. Do you want to? And I would not dare say draft a wide receiver, but is it time at this point to consider adding Hodge as maybe your fourth receiver? Let's see. Falcon Fans Forever says, hey, bro, good morning. Could we please get rid of Jimmy Lake? Please, could we? Please. Pretty please. With sugar on top. I agree. 100%. Falcons Fan Forever says we should draft a QB. We should draft a QB. I agree with you 100%. I'm sorry, a cornerback. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, forgive these eyes. Yeah, we should draft. Well, so look at, if it's me, we draft a cornerback, we draft an edge rusher, we draft a linebacker who can run. Those three are non-negotiable, and you got to have them. You need an edge rusher, you need a linebacker, at least one who can run, and you need a cornerback. I would agree with that. Hey, what would you guys draft if it's your choice? Drop it in the chat. If you got the ability to draft anyone, you're Terry Fontenot in the draft next year, who you drafted? Falcons Fan Forever says, go after Robert Saleh or Steve Wilks for our new DC. We need an old school type defense coordinator. You know what? That sounds too much like right. Because honestly, I don't know why Rod didn't do that in the first place, right? Unless you felt like, okay, well, if I bring in Steve Wilks or if I bring in Robert Saleh or whatever, it's one and done. He's going to be here for 1 year and then go on to some coaching position. And I didn't want that, so let me try and build this with Jimmy. That's the only logic that I can take from that as to why you bring in 2 first-year coordinators, is that it's going to take time for them to build, right? And you don't want them to just be plucked away right away. So the hopes is, yeah, we can have a great season, but, let them get comfortable and maybe we can keep them for a couple of years. That's the only logic I can think as to why you wouldn't do that. I know we had Steve Wilks in the building earlier for a couple of weeks. So I know he was here, which means there's at least some sort of relationship with Ra. I don't have an issue with that. Falcons Fan Forever says edge rusher first and stop being buddy. Carlos says edge, cornerback, linebacker, safety. Yeah, I'm good with it. That makes sense. Falcons Fan Forever says, I see what the Detroit Lions are doing. I see what the Detroit Lions are doing. Now that can be us. Potentially. But the coach of Detroit and Ra are 2 totally different people. But if you're saying from the standpoint of building up what you have and changing the culture, you can do that. What's disappointing to me is you had gifts in-house this year. you had gifts in house, and had this been managed properly, we probably make the playoffs. But I understand changing the culture and pivoting to a winning culture, and I think we can still do that. I don't disagree. Jay Black says nose tackle, cornerback, tackle, wide receiver. Oh, not another wide receiver, Jay Black. Not another wide receiver. I don't know about that one, Jay Black. I mean, I hear you, right? But I really feel like you have a dearth of resources. You have, and when I say resources, I mean money, as well as, bodies. I don't know that I would invest that. Look, maybe it's time to just promote Kadero Hodge, right? Because he's shown in a pick he can play, he can go get it. And he has played with Penix, right? This is me giving you the sales pitch for Kadero Hodge. Look, he was one of the twos. He's already got a natural chemistry with Penix anyway. Maybe you throw him out there, see what he can do. I don't know. But with 4 picks, I'm not drafting a wide receiver. That's me. And I'm not saying, look at Jay Black, I'm not saying you're wrong. I just think this fan base would absolutely freaking lose it if we draft a wide receiver. Like, there would be a revolt. A1 says we need linebackers, cornerbacks, defensive ends, maybe safety too, and brains at DC. Oh, man, A1, that ain't right. It's true, but that ain't right. Falcons fan forever. Exactly. I'm very disappointed in the outcome too. Jay Black says, laugh out loud. Falcons Forever says, I was happy with Michael Penix Jr. draft from the start. He's going to be a star here. I agree. I think he's going to be a superstar. No doubt about it. Carlos says, big on the brains at DC. A1. Agreed. A1 says, nose tackle is a must. We need a space eater. Can't be Eddie alone. And you know what? Let's give Eddie his props, man. Eddie, once he got going, specifically when we made whatever changes we made, was great. Even in Sunday's game, he was making plays. So, for those of you who said Eddie wasn't going to make it out of the parking lot, a la Jeff Wolf, I think you got to eat a little humble pie on that one because, Eddie was pretty good. A1 says, Eddie, yes, we need ITV. Laugh out loud, slid that one in. Yeah, you did. All right, guys. So, if it's me, right, this you're starting, or your players on offense, obviously going to be Drake, the man. Obviously Mooney, your number 2. Great combo. These, and if it wasn't for Mooney's injury, he's 8 yards away from 1,000. So kind of disappointed for him, but what a duo, right? What a duo. You're obviously bringing Ray back. Maybe you throw Kadero Hodge in there as your 4th receiver. And, maybe you bring back Casey Washington, the rookie. You see what he can do. Maybe Blair, other than Blair running that wrong route, which happens. And of course, he paid for it because they didn't bring him back. Maybe you give him a shot next year. Again, guys, we're dealing with a dearth or a decrease in resources. Right? We don't have a lot of picks, and we got a lot of positions that we're going to need. So I don't know that I'm on board for signing another receiver because I think Hodge showed in the Tampa Bay game, look, he can step in and get it done, and he's your 4th. Casey Washington is your 5th. I don't know who your 6th would be. Maybe we draft him with draft picks that we get from trading Kyle Pitts and, Kirk Cousins. I don't know. But those are my receivers. Obviously, you got to get a replacement for Kyle. So maybe you pull some guy off the practice squad. Get a tight end here. Obviously, you got Bijan and Algier. What a 1-2 punch. Bijan is an absolute superstar, a stud. Bijan got 170 yards, on Sunday. Algier got 50 yards on Sunday. That combined is 220 yards rushing. We put up 500 yards of offense, and it's funny because we still lost. It's not funny, but it's a little funny. We put up 500 yards of offense. Whatever. My point is, we put up 500 yards of offense on Sunday, right? if we get that ball back, if we win the toss on Sunday, we win. Hell, if we win the toss the 2 Sundays, we're probably in the playoffs because they weren't going to stop us. And, I don't know, maybe Raheem would have figured out the whole timeout thing. I don't know. I don't know if that extended into overtime. Maybe that was just during the regular time. Maybe in overtime, Raheem would have said, hey, I got to call a timeout here. I don't know. All right, back to the chat. So we got Falcons Forever. I would cut Matthew Judon and Justin Simmons. They were bust here. I would cut Simmons. I would see if Judon would take a bargain buster, as my brother often says, great value Dollar Tree deal, maybe just for a year to say, hey, I'm back again in the league and, let me get my weight up. I don't think he's going to do it because he declined to comment about it yesterday. So I don't think Judon's back anyway. Carlos says situational football killed his nightmares of 3rd and long, 15 yards off the ball. Going to haunt me. Yeah, me too. And slants. 7-yard slants when you needed 6, and you're 15 yards off. Again, I know I went to Georgia Public School, but make that make sense for me. It's 3rd and 7. You're 15 yards off. It's 3rd and 7. Somebody make this make sense, because I don't see in any universe, not this one or any other Marvel or DC universe, where that makes sense, right? I don't know. Anyway. Maybe in a universe where you have like this gravitational pull that you can just put on a receiver and he can't go anywhere, maybe. But outside of that, that makes no sense. That's for you Marvel and DC nerds out there like myself. Okay. Carlos says, I expect the cap to go up. It will, but I mean, I don't know that it's going to go up enough to help us that much. Maybe it will. Look, maybe if it goes up by 30 million, hey, maybe that's 1 or 2 signings, or maybe even 3. Jay Black says, laugh out loud, 500 yards offense is still lost. Yeah, man, that would hurt, man. When I thought about that and went to bed, sleepless nights, man. Falcons fan forever. How do you feel about Kirk Cousins staying? I feel like it's good because he can be a good mentor for Penix, and I don't think a team will want him after how he played late in the season. See, that's the thing right now. Why did he play that way? Because I don't think it was Father Time. I mean, don't get me wrong. Father Time is 100% undefeated and always will be. You can't beat him, okay? He's like if a Sentinel shows up in the X-Men, unless you can go back in time and get rid of, you better get out of there, okay? A Sentinel is a learning AI robot that's probably 200, 300 feet big, large. And if you have powers, he learns your powers, right? There's no way for you to beat him if you're a mutant because he has the ability to copy your powers, right? That's Father Time. My point is I don't think that Kirk's poor performance was time. I think he hurt his shoulder, and I don't think it healed. I think he hurt his elbow, and I don't think it healed. And if you've got any sort of range of motion or shoulder limitation, the first thing that's going to go, your velocity, right? This is me as Kirk's agent making the pitch to the team that's going to trade for him so he can start. Cleveland. So if it's me, I'm trying to trade him to Cleveland and get 2 picks. Give me a 3rd and a 4th this year. Okay. That's just me, right? Because that's 60. I mean, I like Kirk. Look, I'm all about the swag, sir. Swags. I'm all about that. I am all about that. I'm not $67 million about that, though. Yeah, I'm not about that. Not about that. Not about because that's combined with the, if you split the signing bonus plus what we owe you for next year. Yeah, I'm not about that. I'm sorry. I'm just not about it, right? I'm not going to pay you that to be on the bench. So if we can trade for you, great. If I just got to keep you, then fine. You can be a very, very expensive Obi-Wan Kenobi to Michael Penix. That's a Star Wars reference for you non-nerds out there. and you non-Gen Xers, because I don't see how you can be a Gen Xer and not know who Obi-Wan Kenobi is. But anyway, Falcon fans review: Raheem need to stop being soft. Has been being soft, and yeah. A1 Forever says 1st and 25, and they pick it up. Oh my God. That's where I felt like we kind of got the double fingers, because we rushed 3 on 1st and 25. Why would you do that? And that's a pivotal moment in the game. That is a pivotal moment in the game. We're in the 4th quarter. It's 1st and 25. You got to go after him. You can't, and you got to play man, and you got to play up on these receivers, and you got to stop them there. What you cannot do is be in a soft cover 2 shell and rush 3, and surprise, he throws it right behind the cornerback in front of the safety. Shocker. No, that was just bad. Yes, I can agree on that. I think he's still hurt, so he needs to be set down. Yeah, I get it, man. Look, if you just can't trade him, then guess what? He's the most expensive bench piece we've ever had, and we just got to deal with that. A1 forever. He will be the most expensive backup in quarterback history. A1, get out of my head, guy. I know we do shows together. I know we're tight, but get out of my head, man. Jeez. Falcons fan forever says, if we trade him, he will have to get another veteran QB, or we will have to get another one QB, because we will only have one. Yeah, but we can get one for a whole lot cheaper than $67 million, bro. Whole lot cheaper. King Richie says, fellas, what's good? What's going on, King Richie? How you doing, man? How you doing? Falcons fan forever says, we got to cut Koo. He messed up a lot this season with missed field goals. And that's another thing. And I didn't want to get into that, but damn it, my brother Falcons fan Falcons fan forever. You're gonna make me go here. I didn't want to go here with this unpleasantness. But at a minimum, you got to have a conversation about Koo, because the hip is a tough one to come back from, right? The hip is what got Bo Jackson. Now, obviously, Koo didn't get drugged down from behind, and rip that muscle, but that hip is dangerous. And a hip can end a career in any sport, but specifically when you use your base or your lower extremities to do your job. So, this is that's what it's about for me, right? I think it was Christy Lewis who pointed out, and wherever you are, Christy, hope you're having a great day. But a couple of shows ago, maybe a more than a couple, I don't know, do a lot of shows, but Christy Lewis pointed out that Koo changed his delivery last year, right? Now, initially he said it was to get more distance behind his kicks. And a part of that could have been, right? But another part of that could have been, I have this nagging injury on my hip, and I've modified this so I can kick because it doesn't hurt as much. We don't know what he's going to be after this hip surgery, but a hip for a kicker is like a shoulder for a pitcher. They may not necessarily come back for that, or a shoulder for a quarterback, because the shoulder impacts your range of motion, and your range of motion impacts 2 things: accuracy and velocity, right? So, that's a good question. Do you bring back Koo? Do you bring back Koo? I think his salary cap hit is like $2 million, but that is a legitimate question. That's not a decision I want to make, because honestly, I like Koo. I rock with Koo. I like him a lot. I don't know. Thank God I'm not Terry Fontenot. I don't know. Maybe you do cut him. I'm going to hate to cut him, but maybe you have to, contingent upon what the doctors say in regards to the prognosis for this hip. Because for those of you who don't think so, that is a very serious thing. That's like a knee for a running back, right? That's how you make your money. So I don't know. Good question though, Falcon fan. Whatever, King Richie. But if you can't get fair compensation for him, keep him, and let's start a QB tree with Kirk. I mean, you could do that, but that's an expensive QB tree. King Richie, Koo was hurt all season. I agree with that. I do agree with that. I agree with that 100%. Falcons fan forever says, oh, okay. I didn't know Koo was hurt this season because I got respect for Koo. He's a beast, and he let me down a few times when we needed him. Yeah, and he really is. He really is. But I think he was hurt all season. I agree with that. And again, this goes back to Coach Ra. Why did you not go out and get another kicker sooner? Because not having a kicker who can make a 56-yard field goal beat us against Washington. Definitely beat us against New Orleans. So we win those 2 games alone. We're not even having this conversation. We're not meeting you guys at Applebee's to watch the playoffs. We're watching you at Applebee's or wherever you want to go. You know, you could be a bit of a, I don't know, snob when it comes to steak, like myself. You could like Ruth's Chris. I don't go often because they're rather pricey, but I love me some Ruth's Chris. Oh my God. This is the greatest thing since sliced bread. And I like my steaks medium well. So if you caught the show yesterday, Carrie was saying that well-done steaks are for losers. I like mine medium well. Anyway, just messing with you, Berto and Jack Spade. Hey, man, love you guys. King Richie says they kept running him out there while he was hurt. I was at the game. He limped on the field. It's a bad decision, man. A1 Forever says, yeah, Koo was hurt in preseason. And he was, because we were at the content creator get-together up at, oh, geez, I can't think of the name of that bar, but we were all out there. And we were watching it like, what is wrong with his delivery? Because I think he missed like 3 field goals. And we were all saying it then, and it never got any better. Falcons fan forever. I'm glad Penix Jr. got the chance to sit down and learn before we started him. He's a fast learner. I really hope we build a great defense around him. I hope we can have a dominating hardcore defense. And that's another reason I didn't want to keep Kirk, right? Because Penix is on the cheap right now. You got him for 5 years. He's on the cheap right now. Most of these teams, even the Chiefs initially, right? They were able to construct dominating teams because Mahomes was cheap. He was on his rookie deal. Because make no mistake about it, in 5 years, Penix is going to cost you probably $70 million a year. I mean, Dak got what, 60? And we're talking 4 more years? Oh, yeah. Penix going to cost you about $70 million. So if you can get rid of Kirk now, right, then maybe you can sign other players and build, because you got the offense in place. You can build up that defense. That's another reason I want to trade Kirk, because if you don't, you know, this defense is going to be it's going to be 2016. We need to take this ball away, because the longer this goes on, you guys are going to figure us out. And when you do, oh boy, food for thought. Falcons fan forever. We need some dogs on defense, like hungry lions, rush the QB like a Legion of Boom secondary. Yeah, man. Look from your mouth to God's ears, but the only way you're going to get there is sign it or trade it, and we got 4 picks, so we got to trade to be able to draft it. I meant sign it or draft it. You guys know what I mean. Falcons fan forever. You have a new sub today, bro, and great channel. Thank you, Falcons fan. And to those of you who don't know, this is more than likely Falcons fanatic. He's got a bunch of names. But either way, this guy knows his stuff, knows what he's talking about. If this is who I think it is, I've done shows with him and wealth of knowledge on football, basketball, Braves, been here forever. Outstanding guy. And he's getting his channel up and running. And when he does, you need to support him. But thank you for that. I appreciate that. So yeah, that's where we are with our Falcons. Guys, I'm going to cut this short. We're at about an hour, and King Richie's got some more. So what do you got? King Richie, we have 5 picks, and if we get rid of Judon, we get another 7th, I think. King Richie, I thought we had 4. I thought we had 4 picks. Well, you know what? let's see what the Google has to say about our picks, because you may be right and I may be wrong. So let's check it out. Atlanta Falcons. Draft picks 2025. I'm sorry I'm saying it out loud, guys. I'm old. I'm very old. And that's what we old people do to make sure we get it right. So I apologize. Or I should say, how many picks? I'm doing it again. How many picks do the Atlanta Falcons have in 2025? That would be better. Okay, so you're right. They do have 5 picks. You are right. You are correct, King Richie. But I would like 3 or 4 more, right? So if you can trade Kyle Pitts, because you weren't using them anyway, right? You're not using them. Why you're not using him? That could be because he doesn't run routes, or he doesn't run all of his routes. He runs his routes sometimes. I don't know if there's a discrepancy between what the hot route is and what his route is. I don't know, but you're not getting the most out of him. I think we can agree he's been here for 4 years. You have not, other than the first year with Matt Ryan when he was the only option, you're not getting the most out of him. So for me, I'm going to try and trade Kyle and Kirk, maybe even together, and see if I can't get 4 picks. That will put you at 9 picks. And we really need to do well in that. And those are my thoughts. And if you can get rid of Judon I like Judon. See, I think Judon got a bad rap just because his defense was horrible, because it should have never been a 3-4 anyway. You didn't have the personnel for that, right? I think if you run the iteration of defense that we ran in that 5-week period, Judon might have 10 sacks this year. He might. I don't know. Another discussion for another day. A1, I think if we drop Judon, we have 5. A1 forever. We need at least 2 more, family. Yeah, we do. King Richie says we got a 5th for Taylor Heineke, I think. Well, he did contribute. Carlos says, I think we start off with Pitts and give him a shot with Mike by the trade deadline, ship him, or if it don't work out. I mean, you could, right? You could. Look, Carlo, I respect you, man. I respect you, but here's the thing. If you keep Kyle, because you're not going to re-sign him, all right? You got to re-sign Jesse Bates, Kyle Pitts. It's not even a discussion. So you're not re-signing Kyle. And you got to, I thought I saw Drake, the Falcons were in the process of making Drake an extension. So, maybe that's off the table. But for now, you got to re-sign Drake and you got to re-sign Jesse Bates. You're not re-signing Kyle Pitts, right? So why not ship him off for a draft pick? I know we did, King Rich. I know we picked up his 5th year, but I'm saying if you can trade him for something, for a draft pick that you can go and draft this year, maybe that helps you. Because, guys, we got 23 positions. We got 23 free agents. We're not re-signing all of those guys. We don't have the money to re-sign all of those guys. So you're going to need at least 9 draft picks, maybe even 10, because you got to re-sign 13 guys. You don't have the money to re-sign all 23. At least I don't think so. So, I don't know, man. Good discussion. King Richie says we picked up Kyle for the 5th year already. Look, Carlo, I'm not against keeping Kyle if you can get the most out of him. Like if you get 1,000 yards out of Kyle next year, then bro, you got something. And if you can make a deep run, then you got something. But if it's going to be the same old Kyle from these past 3 years, no thanks, man. No thanks. Carlos says it makes sense what you're saying, but they not cutthroat. Oh man. Oh wow. Carlo from way downtown. Oh, Carlo from way downtown. Damn, Carlo. All right. Thanks for cousin contract. Yeah. And that's William Amy, by the way. How you doing, William? King Richie says we signed 12 players last night on futures, I think. Okay. All right. Did not know that. Was not aware of that. Thank you for that. So guys, look it. This offense is going to be great next year. It really comes down to what are we doing on the defense, and it starts with, are we keeping Jimmy Lake? And if we don't keep Jimmy Lake, are you bringing somebody in here who's experienced, or is Raheem just going to say, bump it and call the defense? That's really what it boils down to. Because I think Raheem was calling the defense anyway in that 5-week span, And if you don't think that, I mean, yes, Jimmy was calling it, but he had the cheat codes from Raheem, right? In other words, if this, then do this. If 3rd and 5, then do this. If this, then do this. Run this stunt, run this blitz, have this guy position here. Like, I think that was Raheem. So, my humble opinion, you got 2 options. You can, Raheem, just come out. Look, take your mask off. It was Raheem calling the plays for these past 5 weeks. And he would have gotten away with it if it weren't for you meddlesome kids. It was Raheem, right? Take your mask off. Call the plays next year. Get a timeout coordinator, Raheem. A better one, okay? Just saying. Love you, Coach Rob. Or go out and get Steve Wilks. Go out and get Steve Wilks. You got your guy on offense. Bring in Steve Wilks. Coach Raheem, Steve Wilks. Working together. Let's do it. Let's do it. And let's see. All good. Lisa Shepard, Miss Lisa. Ladies and gentlemen in the chat, we have a journalist amongst us. She doesn't call herself a journalist, but I do. Lisa's a great writer. Lisa is a woman of the people. Lisa's always on the go. Lisa's making dreams happen, man. Lisa's out here doing the damn thing. Just looked up Bates' contract. He is signed through 2026. Yeah. And that's when you got to re-sign Drake if you don't extend him now. So if you wait to 2026, there's no way you're going to re-sign Kyle, because you got Bates and or Drake. I mean, it's not even, you know what I mean? So hopefully they extend him. Hopefully Kyle can come out and have a great year next year, but I don't see how you can keep Kyle and Jesse and Drake. I just don't see it. So, yeah, but he is signed through the 2026 season. So, King Richie, bring Wilkes in, keep Lake, make the assistant. Oh, King Richie, that's petty. I like it a little, but that's petty. That's petty. I don't think you can have I don't think you can have Jimmy Lake here, because I think he kind of, wouldn't you be pissed off if you came with that game plan for the last game? Like, wouldn't you be pissed off? Like, you're dominating. You're getting 5 sacks a game, and you come here for the last game. Yeah, guys, we're gonna go back. What? I mean, personally, I don't know that they would want to play for Jim. I don't know that they would want Jimmy near that. Look, I don't know. I'm not at Flowery Branch. They could love the guy, but I just feel like his time has come. I don't know that I'd keep Jimmy. That's just me. You know what I mean? I don't know that I'd keep Jimmy. King Richie says him. Lisa Shepard, if Raheem was calling the defense the last game, then we have problems. I don't think he was, Lisa. I really don't. I don't think he was. Because and if you look at his statements in the press conference afterwards, he definitely was not calling the defense. King Richie says he needs to learn, though, for real. He does, King Richie, and he can learn somewhere else. Look it. We need to promote him to customer. Okay. I had a supervisor that used to say that all the time. Look it, we're just going to promote him to customer because clearly he can't keep up. We need to promote Jimmy to customer. All right. He did throw Jimmy under the bus, but don't you think he deserved it, King Richie? Don't you think he deserved it? I do. I mean, look, it probably wasn't a nice thing to do. I'll give you that. But we gave up 44 points, King Richie. We gave up touchdowns where they're on the 5 and our defensive backs are playing 7 yards back. Make that make sense to me. Help me out. Help me out, right? Help me out. No, he needed to be thrown under the bus. I don't know, whatever. Like, look, we all got our opinions, but I just think it's time for Jimmy to go. Jimmy can learn somewhere else. Jimmy's been a head coach in the ranks of college. He will land somewhere. He will land somewhere. And look, maybe he can work on his craft and work on his themes and get better. I'm not saying he can't come back, but I just think his time is coming going in Atlanta. That's just me. King Richie, for the first 11 games, yes. And this past game, too, King Richie. He sucked this past game, too. And I don't think it was Coach Rock calling those plays. The scheme was weak as, yes, it was. Absolutely. Lisa Shepard says, it's still a reflection on Raheem because Raheem brought Lanier to the Falcons. Lake Lanier, where defensive schemes go to die. Raheem can't escape accountability in this. No, Lisa, I agree with you 100%. 100%. Look, you got to be accountable. You have to be accountable. There is no way around that. You have to be accountable. And, I got to be honest, that's, you got to be accountable. You can't fool everybody. And look, people know, right? And I think a lot of times if you just look at, I messed up, it was a bad decision, whatever, most people will forgive you and say, let's go get them next year because they are excited about Penix and you were a part of bringing Penix here. So there's forgiveness out there for Coach Rod. There is a path forward to forgiveness, but Coach, you just got to be humble. You got to express some humility, and you got to own it, man. You got to own it. And I think if you do that, everything will be all right. We'll forgive you. This is America. We are a forgiving culture sometimes. King Richie says they ran him out of Washington when Penix left. Well, yeah, but, they ran him out of Washington because of the incident with the player and some other things. Like it was some other stuff behind it. Good or bad, right or wrong, don't know. Wasn't there. Not trying to make the case, but hey, look, whatever. Look, hopefully Jimmy lands on his feet. There are very few guys that can do this, that can deal with this grind, that can call a defense in the NFL. And hey, man, I wish him nothing but success in his future endeavors, and hopefully he can learn. But not here, Jimmy. Just, my humble opinion, not here. But that's just me. What do I know? King Richie, now we see why. Yeah, now we do see why. So, guys, I don't know. I think I'm excited about next year's team. I'm really excited about next year's team. I'm excited about what we can do. I'm excited about our path forward. I'm excited about seeing Penix zip that thing, man. That touchdown. And I'm not talking the one where he did the fake, because that was a great throw. But the one he threw on a line to Drake, where the defense still hasn't seen it because it got there that quick. I was like, wow. I got to be honest, man. There are very few quarterbacks that just make me say, but he wowed me in that moment. And I just think that with some more time with this offense, with Zach Robinson, with these players, this offense is going to be dynamic. I mean, the potential for this, and Bijan and Tyler Algier. And that was my thing. While we have these guys, because we won't after, 2025. I think Tyler is a free agent in 2026 and he's gone. Let's be real. Tyler is the number one starter anywhere else. He's gone. So while you got him, and King Richie, maybe this is the argument to keep Kyle, whether it's King Richie or it could have been Carlo. But while you have this nucleus of players, man, you got the makings of a juggernaut on offense. I mean, think about it. You got two number one starters for running backs in the backfield right now. You got a tight end that if he had the want to, could probably be 1,000-yard receiver. You already have 2,000-yard receivers beside him, and you got Ray, who's as slick as butter and faster than a speeding bullet as your third receiver. You have some options. You got an offensive line that can maul you on the run, and they're getting better at pass blocking, and you got the makings of a really good offense. It's weird at how eerily similar this Falcons team is with the 2015 team. It's just weird. If you look at this, they went 8-8, we went 8-9 because we had 17 games. We missed the playoffs. They started well. We started well. And if history repeats itself, this team is going to be very dynamic next year. So, and maybe that's an argument to keep Kyle. King Richie says Penix saved all-day jobs, and he did. Or as my wife would say, and did. King Richie, normally once teams get ahead, we lose drastically. Penix kept us in the game. Penix did. Twice in very high-pressure situations. 4th down and goal, and you plant that thing in Kyle's chest, touchdown? Are you kidding me? It's late in the game. We got to have it. And you drill Drake London, or whenever you did that touchdown, I'm sorry. That throw to Ray, phenomenal. Carlos says, I think the biggest push is going to be the disappointment they suffered. That's going to be in their head all seasons, and they're going to play with the chip on their shoulder. I would agree. I would agree. I would definitely have a chip on my shoulder. And if Jimmy did stay around, he may not want to take coffee from a lot. I'm just kidding, Jimmy. I'm just kidding. King Richie says, all we need is one speedy guy to add if we don't keep Rondale Moore. I mean, maybe you do. Look, I'm okay with what we got. Kadero Hodge is speedy. I'm okay with what we have. I am okay with it. Kadero Hodge, low-key, reminds me of Michael Jenkins a little bit. Not that he's as polished as Jenkins was, but he just puts me in the mindset of him. And look, Kadero Hodge is a football player, man. There's a part of him that rises to the occasion, right? And I just like to see him get a chance. You know, you got Casey Washington, who went out with a bad concussion, but he's coming back next year. I think you got what you need in-house, right? Especially with all the positions that you have to replenish. I think we're okay with him in-house. A1 Forever says Penix handled those 3 games like a champ. Yes, he did. King Richie says, and we was 4th and 22 and go. Yes, we were. Wait, was it 4th and 22 or 3rd and 22, King Richie? I want to say, you know what? I don't know. I'd have to go back and watch the game. I can't swear by that one. I have to go back and watch the game. You know what? You were right before, so you're probably right now. But I don't know. I recall it being 3rd and 22. I don't know. I could be wrong. You were right before, so you're probably right now. DSGB Hall, we got studs on offense, but what about the defense, though? Yeah, I know, right? And again, DSGB, eerily similar to the 2016 team. Because, again, you're not going to be able to re-sign all of these guys. I think you're going to have probably a lot of first-year, second-year guys on defense. You're probably going to have to get a lot of turnovers. And you're probably going to have to score a lot of points. But I think this team can do that. I know this offense can score a lot of points because we steadily got better and better and better. And if Penix goes into this offseason knowing he's the number 1 guy and comes back as much of a student of the game as he is, forget about it. Like, bro, we might score 40 points a game regularly. Okay, 35. Maybe I'm tripping. But I'm just saying, this offense looks really good. We'll probably have to be an opportunistic defense, to be honest with you. King Richie, I think more like Taylor Gabriel on the Super Bowl squad. Okay. Yeah, that's fair. Remember we got that holding call. Yeah, I know. And somebody got I think it was Sanu that got his face mask grabbed on that same holding play. So it really should have been offsetting penalties. Or he got his face mask he got his face mask held. I'm sorry, guys. He got his face mask held at some point on that last drive. But yeah, I don't know, guys. I don't know what we do. I'm looking forward to it. I'll be here with you. We'll be here to discuss it. We'll get into it. It is going to be interesting what happens with Jimmy Lake. What was interesting, and Miss Carey alluded to this, is that Raheem really didn't reference Jimmy that much in the press conference. And that is telling. So I don't know who else. I know yesterday was Black Monday. I don't know who else got the boot. So if you guys know of any other defensive coordinators who took it last night or who got it last night or this morning, hey, drop it in the chat. But I guess the $60 million question is Jimmy Lake coming back next year? And the more time elapses, the more you have to say he would be back. But I don't know. I think if you're Raheem, if you want to survive yourself, you got to make that move. And just looking at his comments in that interview, I don't think Jimmy's back. I don't think Jimmy's back. That's me. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before, but I just do not see that happening. These are so Raheem's quote. This is after the interview. We did not come out to play today on defense, and it showed. Really shocked and really disappointed in the team's defense. We took a huge step back today. Those things can't happen. I don't know how you guys take that, but I take that as, yeah, that was Jimmy's defense. That was Jimmy's plan. I don't know why we did it, but the fact that we did that, we took a step back. Now you add that and the fact that I don't know that Raheem mentioned Jimmy at all yesterday. I don't think Jimmy's coming back. I don't think Jimmy's coming back. That's just me. That is just me. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. But look at guys. Thank you to everyone who joined myself and Debo Vibes. And great show by Debo Vibes. Great voice. Just a great podcaster. And looking forward to working with him in the future, man. We'll come to you guys Tuesdays at 8 a.m. and, Fridays at 8 a.m. And it'll be 8 to 9 in most cases. We went a little long today because we started at 8:15. But it's mainly going to be Tuesdays and Fridays from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. And, hey, guys, thank you so much for the support. I appreciate you. You guys have helped me tremendously. You guys have been supportive, and I cannot thank you enough. I love the Falcons. I love the Braves. I love the Hawks. I love talking about it with you guys. I learned so much from you guys. You guys are always updating me on this and that and what's going on. And this is the greatest job ever. If I could just do this and just talk Falcons, Braves, and Hawks all day, that is akin to what heaven is like for me. So, and I know, whatever. I'm just saying, this has been really fun. Thank you guys to everyone who joined. You could have been anywhere in the world. You chose to spend your time with me. And I, for one, do not take that for granted. And I thank you and I appreciate it. And please continue to like and subscribe so that we can talk some more Falcons, Braves, Hawks, whatever you guys want to talk about. That's what we're going to do. My channel is For My ATL Sports 1 on YouTube. Again, the number 4. My ATL Sports, the number 1 on YouTube. Please like, share, and subscribe, as it just puts things out there in the algorithm and it makes it, easier, and it makes it more likely that we will get together But, for those of you who don't know, again, Tuesday and Wednesdays, we'll do something just like this at 8 a.m. And we'll probably go from 8 to 9, in some instances, maybe 8 to 10. Also, Monday and Wednesday, I do shows with the Beard Gang. You guys know C-Dub, Ladarius Brown and his band of renown, and Ronnie Thomas. C-Double with Trouble. I didn't give his moniker name or whatever. And we're going to be doing shows mornings, Monday morning, Wednesday morning, and Thursday morning at 10 a.m. So Monday and Wednesday, we're here on this channel. Thursday morning, we're on C-Dub's channel, C-Double, on YouTube. And again, Tuesday and Friday, 8 a.m. right here. We can talk sports for about an hour, maybe a little longer. Friday, not so much, because on Friday, I am on One Time for the Fan, Friday mornings at 9 a.m. Also on One Time for the Fan, Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. and Sunday nights at 8 p.m. So again, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you guys. Hey, man, I got to thank God, because without him, I would not be here. Thank you, God. Thank you for this opportunity. It's been a rough year. 2024 was a rough year. It was a great year. It was a terrible year, all in the same. Hopefully 2025 will just be a great year. And look at, guys, let's come back. Let's talk about these Falcons, and, let's root these guys up so they can go and get into the playoffs next year and make some noise. Again, to everyone, thank you for joining us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you. Last but not least, let me give a special shout out to Mr. Jack Spade and Mr. Eric Parker. Those two gentlemen gave me my start in this business, and I will forever, forever, forever be grateful to them and to you guys. Guys, rise up. Have an amazing day, and I will see you guys tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Good day, everybody.